It's April. I am going live. I was going to say on location, but it's actually the same location that I was live in last week. I've just turned around. So now you're seeing the other side of what I sometimes call our music room or library or my office or studio or I don't know. Do y'all have rooms in your house that sort of seem like they're labeled like five different things? Um, that's our house. That's this room in our house. I'm gonna move the laptop and sit it here on my desk, and you can see this is our piano here, and the harp is behind me. Maybe one of these days I'll play a little bit for you. That's sort of my baby, I would say. It's something that I've learned to play for fun. And I think as a musician, if you are making your living with your art, then it's very important for you to keep something for yourself. And for me, that is the harp. So while I do occasionally perform on the harp, it is primarily something that I play for myself. So I would recommend that for you as well if you are one who uses your gifts and talents a lot as even if you're volunteering, if you're giving it away a lot, sometimes it's helpful to have something of your own that you just do for you. So, all right, without further ado, let's get to the training. I noticed on last week's video that when I shared my screen and I had those musical examples, they were really hard to see when I was watching it after. It was difficult for me to see on the playback. So I'm going to try something different today because this is, after all, everything's just an experiment, right? I don't know anybody that has it all figured out. I am going to be doing, I'm just going to be like old school, showing you some music in a folder. So we're going to talk about roadmap first. And so I'm just showing you a piece of music that I was rehearsing this last night with one of the groups that I play with and sing with, and we have a gig Friday night, and so this was one of our songs, and I thought, oh, this fits the bill because this has repeat signs in it, this has a coda in it, it's got all kind of fun rhythms in it, so it'll be a good example for us to go through and just identify some of the things that you will encounter in choir music as well. So here we are. I'm going to scoot this a little closer. Okay, so this piece of music titled King of My Heart. These are just my own notes of what I'm doing on this song. Starting up here is the treble clef, which is where we as females are singing in treble clef. And then if you are an alto, which if you're in this group you are, then that second, the lower note, is the alto line. And then this 4/4 is called a time signature. That tells us there's going to be 4 beats in a measure. And then these two symbols here are flat signs, and that means we are in the key of B flat. Now, if you want to learn more about key signatures and all, that's something I go into in more detail in some of the courses that I offer. So if you want more on that, definitely just ping me and let me know. So, all right, so here we go. This is the beginning of King of My Heart. Everything seems pretty normal. Here we are on the second page. It's got a notation there if that's where the chorus is, and then here we are in verse 2. And keep going. All right, so this is where it gets interesting. See, right on the chorus is that. It looks like an S with a line through it, and I think it even has a couple of dots. Yes, it does. It's a fancy, fancy sign, and it's called a sign, exactly as you would imagine. So make a mental note, because that means we're coming back to it. And then here we are. This looks like a kind of a bullseye, and we're just make a mental note again. We'll go over what that means in a minute. Okay. And here's a repeat sign, and this is our bridge. So far we've just been going through the music like normal. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. We see a sign. Oh, okay, we're gonna make a note about that. And we see another sign. We're gonna remember that. And then we see this double bar line with 2 dots, and this is a repeat sign. Okay, so it means we're coming back here when we get to the other repeat sign. And you see that is here. Okay, so we're singing the bridges. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. Never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. And then you go back to the repeat sign, do that whole thing again, and when you get here, it's no longer your first time through, it's your second time through. So then you go to the second ending. And da 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 da, we see DS all coda. Okay, so that means go back to the sign until you get to the coda. Okay, so go back to the sign. Here's our sign. And then we sing, 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 sing until we get to this little bullseye, which tells us to go to the coda. Okay? And then we play this or sing this. Sorry, I have some loose papers in here and they're falling out, of course. And then here we are. Here's the end of the piece. We got another repeat sign with a first ending and a second ending, and then we're done. So that was just a quick overview of coda, sign, repeat sign, time signature, and we talked a little bit about treble clef there at the very beginning. So there you go. We're at 9 minutes, and you've gotten a little quick overview of all of that. And also, there is a little a description of each of those signs as a part of the cheat sheet that I've made that goes into all of the notes of the treble clef and rhythms and signs. I've put all of that on one piece of paper, and I call it the alto cheat sheet. So if you've not gotten it yet, again, you can either comment or message me and I will get that to you. Most of you have found this Facebook group because you got the cheat sheet. So I would just encourage you, if you have it, make sure you've got it handy because it's got all of the answers right there on one sheet of paper. And if you don't have it, or you've lost it, or you're like me and it's probably in a download folder somewhere and it just never got printed out, let me know. I'll send it to you again. No problem. Okay, so now I'm going to do just a quick review of rhythms before we head out. Last time I showed you the notes and the rests in a horizontal line. And this time I'm going to make a tree, like a rhythm tree, because sometimes visually it might make sense to you in one way, and then someone else might need to see it in a different way. So I like to bring as many ideas of how to interpret rhythm as possible so that someone will get it. You'll get it somehow, some way. So here we are with the rhythm tree. At the top is our whole note, and the whole note looks like a donut. I said that last time. And the whole note gets 4 beats. It's gonna last for the whole measure. No matter what piece of music you're in, the whole note, it means you're gonna hold that note for the whole measure. And it also doesn't have any stem or anything. It's just a note. Okay, so I'm gonna just write whole. And I'll put a 4 here because it gets 4 beats. So now we've divided the whole note into, now there's 2 half notes. We've divided the whole note in half, and now we've gotten half notes. So half notes are each 2 beats, and 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so I'm going to put a little 2 here and write half. Okay, now you probably know where we're going with this. These notes are quarter notes. They are each a quarter of a whole note. And quarter notes each get 1 beat. So 4 quarters equal a whole. Okay? So 1 beat, quarter. And then we can go on and on and on from there into 8th notes and 16th notes and 32nd notes and 64th notes and on and on and on. But for our purposes, what we would see on a regular basis, whole note, half note, quarter note. And I hope that visual makes a little bit more sense to you. Maybe if the other was a more difficult, then this one hopefully is helpful. So I'm just going to bring it a little closer, and I'll take a picture of it and put it in the group as well. All right. Well, I appreciate your time today. I hope this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to next week.